Well, good morning, beautiful people. It's me, Sam, from your friendly neighborhood Dunder Mifflin Paper Company, and it is my review of the new Coldplay album, Moon Music. Look, Coldplay is easily one of the more famous bands ever in the world, okay? And so whenever they drop an album, it's an event, okay? Now, look, I admit the quality of their projects have not been as high quality as their earlier work, even of the late 2000s and early 2010s, okay? I admit that as well. Although I was excited to listen to Moon Music, I was also very nervous, but I kept an open mind. Okay, and I'll say this about it. Okay, I think that Moon Music is their best album in nearly a decade. Uh, and I thought their last project that they released was pretty bad. In fact, it was not good. It was pretty terrible. In my opinion, it was their worst project ever. It was very bad. Now the one before that, although I did like a few tracks on that, I thought that was very mid. I wouldn't call it like a bad album. I just wouldn't call it a good album. Now with Moon Music, I think that this is easily their most consistent album in, like I said, nearly a decade. Not only narratively, but thematically as well as musically. That being said, there are a few tracks here that I wasn't too crazy about, and there are some moments throughout the project where were a bit too spot on, a little too cheesy in terms of lyrically. But the thing about Coldplay is that their music is there to lift you up in many ways. I feel like their slogan should be like "Live, laugh, love," and it's clear that's what they're trying to do here, and it works, and it did work for me. One of the big negatives, though, that I have to say is the features on here. I thought, yeah, all the features here were pretty bad, not only execution wise, not only performance wise, but in terms of like the mixing and the editing. You would think that because Coldplay is one of the biggest bands in the world, they would be able to uh, have better mixing and better editing when it comes to other artists jumping in on their tracks. So I thought that was easily one of the weaker points. The album is around 40 minutes, and really, I have no issue with the length of it. Okay, there are a couple tracks that I admit are a little longer than you would think, but because of how beautiful and how well they're executed, I didn't mind that. And that's the thing about this album. It's quite beautiful at times. It's quite lovely. And even if I'm saying this is their best album, keep in mind, even if I'm saying that this is their best album in nearly a decade, in my opinion, that doesn't mean this is a great album, because it's not. It's really not. But if Coldplay, if they're not able to capture the magic of their first, the magic and greatness of their first albums, as long as they're putting out solid music, in my opinion, that's all right. I just don't want them to go back to their last project. It just felt a mess. The music and lyrics, everything was just awful, awful. And here, I admit, I found this to be solid. I did not think you know, this was as bad as that last project or even the one before it. So I'm feeling a very strong 6 out of 10. I think if you're a fan of Coldplay, definitely check it out. If you're a fan but you've kind of given up on them, I think I would listen to it. I think you might be surprised. Once again, this isn't like one of the best albums of the year, but I think it's a solid project, which is why I'm giving them a very strong 6. So guys, let me know your thoughts if you've listened to it. Take care.